What we're going to do when there's no Messi and no Ronaldo to watch? There's always something else.
There's always football will always throw you something. It's why we love the game.
Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe are two athletes pushing football into the new era.
At his age, no one can compete with him. No one. So the numbers speak for himself, and
in my opinion, it can be the next golden ball for the next years.
They're not just great finishers or fast attackers. They're complete monsters built for the modern game. Haaland, the robot who scores like a machine.
If you want to build from scratch the perfect centre forward, he is it. He is the perfect guy.
Mbappe, the speedster who makes impossible goals look easy.
Mbappe! Oh my word! Teenage kicks! The ultimate teenage kick!
For almost 2 decades, football revolved around Messi and Ronaldo, but now the sport is shifting, and these two, they're chasing something even bigger. They're not just chasing trophies, they're not just chasing numbers, they're racing to define the next generation of football greatness.
67 minutes a goal involvement and 77 minutes a goal. That is phenomenal.
Off the chart.
Off the chart. How do you deal with that? Even statistically, if you're coming up against
them. That's Messi and Ronaldo at their prime, those numbers.
Haaland and Mbappe have officially become football's new headline rivalry. For years, people wondered who could take over after Messi and Ronaldo. You have your answer now.
For how long have we been sitting here saying who's going to be next?
I think we know now.
Like, are we going to get a rivalry? This could be another rivalry that lasts for 10 years, like these guys. So for me, that's the mouth-watering.
Yeah.
Both of them have been scoring at a ridiculous rate season after season. Mbappe has become the main superstar at Real Madrid. It's his team now, not Mr. 10 times more. When he plays for France, it's the same thing. Goal after goal. Sacre bleu. Meanwhile, Haaland keeps breaking Premier League records like it's nothing, hitting goal milestones faster than anyone in history.
And the impact he's made in the Premier League, and I think we're watching the greatest goal scorer to ever play in English football.
By the time you are watching this, Haaland's probably already became the fastest player to reach 100 Premier League goals. He already has the record for the most goals in a league campaign in the Premier League. But what makes this rivalry special isn't just the numbers, it's what these two represent. Football today is more athletic than ever, and Haaland and Mbappe are basically the blueprint. They are fast, explosive, and capable of scoring every type of goal you can imagine. Volleys, solo runs, ridiculous acrobatic finishes.
Try and break with Erling Haaland, who could be in on goal here. This is Erling Haaland, makes no mistake.
You name it. I mean, Mbappe can't really score headers, but other than that, he can score anything. This season, they are really pushing each other.
And I have to ask you, I mean, obviously you scored a dozen goals now this season. I'm wondering where I'd need to put my money, Harry Kane or Erling Haaland for the European Golden Boot. Could be a few others involved, but you're both off to a good start.
Don't forget Kylian as well. He had a great start as well. So they're doing amazing. So I need to try to keep up.
Whenever one of them scores something crazy, the other responds almost right away. It feels like a modern version of Messi versus Ronaldo.
Since the start of last season in the Champions League, the combined goals of Messi and Ronaldo are 15. The combined goals of Haaland and Mbappe, 28.
Wow. Changing of the guard.
Changing of the guard. It's happening and we're witnessing it.
Two super athletes built for today's game, both trying to become the superstar of this generation. We are watching in real time two players establish themselves among the all-time greats. It's great to see these guys finally mature into the superstars everyone expected. Because remember, it's not like these two guys came out of nowhere. People have known that they would be special from the very start. Mbappe exploded onto the scene at 17 years old with Monaco, helping them reach a Champions League semi-final and making Europe pay attention. His performance against Pep's Man City felt like the moment that everyone realized how good he actually was. His pace and dribbling were just too much for the City defense. Then he moved to PSG and started putting up video game numbers every single year. By the time he was 19, he wasn't just a rising star anymore. He was a World Cup winner, scoring 30 to 40 goals a season like it was normal. That World Cup though changed everything. In that tournament, he was breaking records previously only held by Pele.
As big like they are, he's on the right path.
He has the potential to be the new Pele.
So you think he's as good as Messi or Ronaldo?
Yes,
And
because
only
he's
19 years old, so he can continue on growing and becoming even better than them.
He was too quick, too lethal. And then you add in the fact that he beat Messi with the world watching, and it was clear he was becoming a household name. In fact, that match against Argentina, many felt, was a passing of the torch moment.
It's one thing to do it for Monaco first, and it's one thing to do it for PSG with more pressure and more expectation. It's another thing to do it on the biggest stage of all, against top players in the world, in a game like that, in the knockout stage of the World Cup, and it's just incredible, and there's no limit for him.
What gets me is not his skill level or his pace, it's his confidence. Never seen such a confident teenager.
At 19 years of age, is just incredible, and no bragging here, but on this show, we were the first one to say to the whole world, listen, there's this kid coming through, he's going to be amazing, and we were the first one to say, and
of course Messi came back and then beat him in a final, but I'll leave that for a different video. I just got to get in a little bit of Messi glaze when I can. Haaland's rise was just as crazy. At 19, he made his Champions League debut for RB Salzburg and scored a hat-trick like it was normal. Within months, he was bullying Bundesliga defenses at Dortmund and setting goal-scoring records that nobody his age had ever touched.
An obsession with goals with Erling Haaland, and he is fun to watch. That obsession that he has about scoring goals, when you see him running without the ball to get himself in a position to dive in between people so that he can finish the chance, it means so much to him. It's magnetic, his personality.
At 20 years old, he won the Champions League Golden Boot, the youngest ever to do it, beating Mbappe in that race. Both of them were hitting numbers in their teens that took legends years to reach. Their first big showdown happened in the 2019-2020 Champions League. Dortmund versus the Baguette Warriors. It felt like the first real Haaland versus Mbappe moment. Now, Haaland actually owned the first leg with 2 goals, one of them being a rocket from outside the box. Mbappe, even though he was carrying a knock, still set up PSG's only goal. In the second leg though, PSG flipped the tie and went through. But you know that Haaland had a massive impact on that fixture because of the way that the croissant lovers celebrated. The whole gang mocked Haaland's celebration, so it was clear that the Norwegian robot had rattled them. It was also clear that a new era had arrived. That tie basically kick-started the whole who's better debate. It was the young Messi versus young Ronaldo feeling all over again. At the time, people were already debating who was better.
Who would they prefer to have in their team, Mbappe or Haaland?
You love questions like this, you do.
Yeah, I just love the debate, but I'm taking Mbappe.
You can't change the question to suit you.
I'm taking Mbappe.
I would take Erling Haaland.
I might go the other way. I might lean a little bit towards Mbappe.
But Haaland is
Haaland's a problem.
Is a brilliant finisher.
This is what you're getting. 2 amazing strikers that can do different things. They're different type of player. You can compare maybe Mbappe to another guy that likes to move and be different. Is he gonna put pressure like Pep likes to put pressure? Is Alan gonna put pressure like Pep likes to put pressure? But he might give you something else. He might learn or not learn. I just think that at one point, those 2 guys, when I see them play, they know what they're not good at. So that's why you see more often than not Mbappe going on the wing and Ellen staying in, because they know what their strengths are.
Back then, the rivalry mostly lived in the stats and in people's head and in FIFA. People would just sit down and argue, who would you rather have? Who would you rather build your team around for the next 5 to 10 years? It was those sort of debates. People argued for hours with no clear winner, because honestly, both were ridiculous talents, still growing into their final form. But this was the early spark that set up the rivalry that we have today. It was a tough comparison. Do you take this absolute unit up front who has more goals than games? A man who outpaces and outmuscles every defender?
They want to be in the box. They're looking at the defender. You won't be able to live with me. I'm waiting for those crosses. I can see that sometimes when the midfielder doesn't give him the ball, that look that you give your midfielder or the defender, like, hey, are you going to give me the ball? I've had enough. I want to score now. I want to be the guy that's going to make the team win. I can see that with him.
Or do you take the flashy winger who can create something out of nothing?
Haaland's going to get you goals all day long, but I think Mbappe also can go and create goals on his own.
It was a difficult decision. Both were putting up unreal numbers at the time. Career mode numbers. In the 2019-2020 season, Haaland scored 44 goals between Salzburg and Dortmund. The next year, Mbappe dropped 42 goals for PSG. And then Haaland followed that up with 41 for Dortmund. Every season felt like they were matching each other. Almost almost perfectly. Their Champions League records were just as crazy. By the time they were 21, Mbappe already had 19 Champions League goals and Haaland had 20. To put that into perspective, that was more than Messi and Ronaldo had at the same age. This is when the whole Haaland versus Mbappe debate really caught fire, because even though they weren't playing in the same league, their stats were constantly being compared side by side. In the 2021-2022 season, Mbappe didn't just score 39 goals, he also had 26 assists, which was the highest in Europe. This guy wasn't just finishing chances, he was creating them as well. Haaland, meanwhile, was pure destruction in the box. In the 2020-2021 season, he scored 10 Champions League goals, and as I stated earlier, won the Champions League Golden Boot at just 20 years old. They were both doing things that players their age weren't supposed to do. By the end of the 2022 season, it was obvious they were both ready for the next level. Haaland started looking towards the Premier League. Mbappe kept getting linked with Real Madrid.
Tic-tac. Tic-tac.
Everyone knew that the real rivalry would begin once they both made it to the biggest stages in football. In 2022, the rivalry took a new turn. Haaland moved to Manchester City, while Mbappe chose to stay at PSG after a long back and forth with Real Madrid. From that point on, their careers went down different paths. Different leagues, different pressures, different expectations. But people kept comparing them every single week. Haaland's impact at City was instant and honestly unreal. In his first Premier League season, the supposed best league in the world, he broke the all-time scoring record with 36 goals. And he did it in fewer games than anyone else ever had. Across all competitions, he scored 52 goals, the most any Premier League player has ever scored in a single season. And he wasn't stat padding either. His goals helped City win the treble, the Premier League, the FA Cup, and their first Champions League. Overnight, he went from one of the best young strikers to one of the most dominant footballers in world football. He was literally on the Ballon d'Or podium and only lost because he was competing with the GOAT. That's how good he was. Mbappe's journey was a little different. He kept destroying the Uber Eats as usual, scoring over 40 goals in the 2022-2023 season, and realistically carrying PSG on his back in most big games. But the Eiffel Tower lovers kept falling short in the Champions League, which made things complicated. Off the pitch, his future was constant drama. There were talks about his new contract, Madrid rumors, endless headlines with his name in it. His talent was undeniable, but everybody was asking the same question: where is his Champions League? Now, while he was dealing with drama at the club level, at the 2022 World Cup, he dropped one of the greatest individual tournaments ever. 8 goals, including a hat-trick in the final. Now, even though France didn't win, Mbappe showed that he's very much built for the biggest moments. So while Haaland was stacking trophies in Manchester, Mbappe was stacking individual accolades and stats, waiting for the right moment to move. The rivalry during these years became more about narratives than direct battles. People argued which one of them would win the Ballon d'Or next. Haaland had come the closest, but Mbappe had also had a great individual season. Haaland had the numbers too, but he also had the team success and the Premier League stage. Mbappe had some incredible individual performances and the World Cup spotlight, but playing for PSG, nobody cared how he was dominating Uber Eats. People only cared about the Champions League, and PSG had failed to win it, despite on paper having a super team. So one was a pure finisher breaking records, the other was the creator/finisher who was trying to win the one title he hadn't won yet, the UCL. Even though they didn't play in the same league, their numbers were insane. By the end of 2023, Mbappe had surpassed 250 career goals, and Haaland wasn't far behind. Both also became the faces of their national team, Mbappe as France's captain, and Haaland becoming Norway's all-time top scorer. It felt like they were on a collision course, but it was also clear that Mbappe had to move in order to reach the heights he wanted to. The rivalry officially came back to life in 2024 when Mbappe finally signed for Real Madrid. That move instantly set up a dream scenario. Mbappe at Madrid, Haaland at City, 2 superstars at 2 super clubs that expect to compete for the Champions League every single season. And right away, we got the matchup that everybody wanted. In the 2024-2025 Champions League, Real Madrid faced City in the knockouts. In the first leg at the Etihad, Haaland scored twice and kept giving City the lead.
19th minute. Haaland gives City the lead.
But Mbappe and Madrid fought back hard to win 3-2.
Mbappe's onside. He's completely mishit it, but it's rolled over the line.
Then in the second leg of the Bernabeu, City surprisingly left Haaland on the bench. There were reports that he was injured. Without the Norwegian robot on the pitch, Mbappe just took over.
Mbappe's the chase. He's in behind. He's lost the goalkeeper, and he scored. Well, he's enjoying a fantastic first season in the capital of Spain. It's Rodrigo. Is he going to get there? Yes, he is. It's Mbappe. Oh, puts the defender on the ground and slams it in. That's brilliant. I mean, Josko Barrio might need a ticket to get back into the stadium. Kylian Mbappe just planted him on the turf. Hitting with his left foot, hat-trick.
He scored a hat-trick, sent Madrid through, and had the entire stadium screaming his name. It felt like one of those moments that people would look back on and say, hey, that was Mbappe's welcome to Real Madrid moment. He had delivered on the biggest stage wearing the white jersey. Ever since that tie, their rivalry has felt more real than ever. Fans now look at every Champions League draw hoping for another City versus Madrid battle. And even though they're in different leagues, the comparisons never stop. Mbappe scores a worldie in La Liga, no problem. Haaland drops a hat-trick in the Premier League the next day. Both of their teams are near the top of the table, and it feels like they're racing each other week by week.
Don't forget Kylian as well.
What makes this era so exciting is that it's clear that both players are aiming bigger than just simple trophies. They're aiming for all-time greatness. Mbappe hit 400 career goals at just 26 years old, the youngest player to do this since Pele, and he just brushed it off. He literally said that 400 doesn't impress anyone and that he'll need to score at least 400 more to be in the same conversation as Messi and Ronaldo. He even joked that Ronaldo's 1,000 goal mark is unreal, but let's try the unreal. That tells you where this guy's mindset is.
I'm too competitive, you know, it's good to be competitive on the field, but sometimes in the life you don't need to be like this. And me, I always want to show that I'm better or I'm the best, I can win, I can do things, but in the life you don't need every time to do this type of thing, you know, so I can calm a little bit about it.